Hi there, friends. This is Weather Watchers Worldwide, where we not only focus on local weather conditions, but often talk about what's happening globally and some of the big stories out there. And today we're actually tracking the tropics. We got a storm out there in the northern hemisphere we're keeping an eye on, not in the Atlantic. Plus, the future of AI and weather forecasting. I actually talked to Nir Stav from the World Meteorological Organization about how they're monitoring AI and how that's going to change the future of weather outlooks. But first, let's talk about here comes the cold across the southeast. And look at this cold air in the forecast all across the southeast with cold weather advisories in place all the way down towards South Florida near Miami. This is rare to have the entire state under a cold weather alert, and that's what we exactly have in the forecast here. In fact, specifically for Jacksonville, here on our Friday morning, could be the coldest in 3 years, with that temperature getting down to 25 degrees. Even near the beaches, we could be looking at freezing conditions as well. So definitely these chilly conditions in the forecast, and I'm going to talk more about that coming up in just a minute. But number one thing right now is just make sure you are aware of this cold air. That sounds silly, but sometimes people get surprised by it. They don't, for example, near the beaches where you may never see those freezes, but you have exposed pipes. You could be looking at, freezing pipes here tonight. So this is why you want to kind of leave a little trickle, especially if you do get this temperatures continuing to drop. It's not so much an issue for up north. And you might be thinking, okay, well, we get cold all the time if you're from Ohio, for example. But a lot of times your pipes are in insulated spots. It may not be the case for a good portion of the state of Florida. So these are some issues that we often worry about here. And sometimes you just have to dig out those hats and gloves if you are getting into those colder temperatures. Now, I know some parts of like the Midwest today are tracking snowfall. And like I said, it's just a totally different beast the further south you go. Temperatures into the mid-20s in Florida is not common whatsoever. And as I mentioned, I am going to come back to that in just a minute. I also want to talk about global conditions. And let's talk about the tropics because, yeah, we got a tropical system out there. This is Tropical Storm Ada, also known as Nichon, I believe. Nokaen, excuse me. Goodness, got it way wrong. Nokaen, located off the coast of the Philippines. It is a tropical storm, according to JMA, really being sheared apart, but a big rainmaker for parts of Visayas and southeastern areas of Luzon there in the Philippines. And it's really kind of interesting. This isn't the northern hemisphere. This isn't a cyclone. This is in the western Pacific, where sea surface temperatures are still well above average due to the La Nina in place, and that is providing enough fuel for tropical development across this area of the world, even though it is northern hemisphere and technically out of season. But in the western Pacific, there never really is a typhoon season there. They can happen any time of year, even here in January, tracking a tropical system. Good news, unlikely this would become a typhoon, which would be the equivalent of a hurricane in the Atlantic. But the bad news is, due to its slow nature and kind of lingering there, it is going to be a big rainmaker for our friends out here in the Philippines. And even Palau, you can see there on the bottom right of the screen. Fun fact, Palau is it's not a territory of the United States, but it is a correspondent. For example, if you go to that little island there in the bottom right of the screen, just towards the east of the Philippines, they only use U.S. dollars. And a lot of the systems there are all American systems. It's a little weird going there. They, of course, speak English as well. So, yeah, so technically kind of, I wouldn't say it's part of the United States, but we do have a lot of Americans. You could actually go and live in Palau, that little island there east of the Philippines, without a visa. All you gotta, if you're an American, you just kind of show up and you're like, I want to live here now. Since they are kind of I don't know if it's correspondent, but it's a term like that with the United States here. So, yeah, they're could be plenty of Americans being impacted by that. But back to the United States, and we'll talk about that cold here as well. Let's get in more detail, though. First, I want to go to a break. We're going to make some money here on our FCN Plus stream with Weather Watchers Worldwide, and then let's break down some of this cold air we're going to continue to see across the southeast.
Why do we come here? to reach for new heights, to dive to new depths. You can call it a team, even a community. That connection with others. We all deserve that. So why come here? This is why.
Swing into luxury, where golf and community come home. Located in St. John's, Florida, Stillwater is a premier 55-plus active adult community where golf is in your backyard. This bundled golf course community features a championship 18-hole course, top tracer practice facility, and resort-style amenities. Whether perfecting your swing or connecting with neighbors, Stillwater offers the perfect blend of relaxation and recreation. Live where every day feels like a getaway.
Maybe you're new to all this streaming, OTT, on-demand stuff. You need a trusted news and weather source, and we've got you with First Coast News Plus.
That's some pretty serious cold.
Get your most accurate forecast, your weather impact alerts,
heavy law enforcement presence,
extended breaking news coverage,
and that breaking news right now out of Camden County, Georgia,
and exclusive specials, all on your schedule. So download First Coast News Plus and start watching for free.
How about that cold air in our forecast? Okay, so here's what's going on. Of course, it's winter and it's cold, but there is the blast of Arctic air coming in all the way from Canada. And, you know, this is really going to set up on Friday. We're going to see it. And then there's a secondary dip of cold air that's going to push in by Sunday into Monday as well. Number one thing first. It's this cold air on Friday. It is going to get frigid on the First Coast. So this is going local now. We're going to be talking about these temperatures into the lower 20s across parts of southeast Georgia. Jacksonville getting down to 25 degrees. As I mentioned, there is a weather impact alert. Basically, this is saying, hey, be ready for it. Check in on your pets, your plants, your peoples, and your pipes. All the P's. Protect fire and fire safety as well, and like space heaters. The other thing is just, I guess, just make sure you check in on your neighbors and stuff, especially people, elderly, somebody that's vulnerable to the cold. Make sure they're running their heater. I have somebody that I'm close to. I check in on him because sometimes you just, it's like you go in his house and he forgets to turn on the heater. So it's silly stuff like that. But if you are in Florida in the southeast, just make sure, you know, the people around you are being safe here because it is going to be cold. One other thing that I can't stress enough is maybe take some time today, try to find an ice scraper because a lot of cars are going to have some frost on them. You could just run the car and have it warm up and hopefully melt it off. But if you want to be ready to go tomorrow morning, you probably want to have that scraper there with you. And at the very least, if you don't use it, you could use it next time there's a cold air, or if you're traveling somewhere, if you throw it in the trunk of your car, you'll be good to go. I can tell you right now, though, you will be the most popular person in your neighborhood if you are in Jacksonville or in Florida, and you get this cold air and you're the only person with the ice scraper. You can start charging your neighbors. All right, hey, take a look at this. The difference between a freeze and a hard freeze. I think there's going to be a good portion of, especially southeast Georgia, that are going to see a hard freeze. That means those exposed pipes. Some of those pipes, some of those elevated homes, older homes that have those pipes exposed to the cold air. It's going to be an issue here. Not to mention plants right near the coast. Some of those tropical plants that if you're at Jacksonville Beach or even St. Augustine, where you don't typically get a freeze, especially something like St. Augustine, because St. Augustine, a lot of you don't realize, it's a little peninsula. You have water all around it, so it's very hard to get a freeze there. It happens, but it's hard because the ocean often modifies the temperature. So you have to get a real good blast of cold air, and we haven't seen one like this in a couple of years, and there is that chance of a freeze. So some of those more tropical plants you're going to want to have to cover up as we go ahead into tonight to tomorrow morning. Then we have that cold air. Then we're talking about behind it, there's this reinforcement of another blast of cold air combined with a little bit of moisture. And yes, there it is. Some guidance continues to show the risk of snowfall out here. Now, at least for the time being, Jacksonville not going to be not going to see snow. It's just too warm. But if you look out there towards parts of Georgia, the chance does increase. Now, could get as far south as Waycross. I think it's going to be more of a further towards the north type of issue. But at least at this point, we're about 3 to 4 days out. We're really debating on, could we see snow, sleet, or rain? Ice is unlikely, like freezing rain's not going to happen. But we're looking to see, all right, so could southeast Georgia see snow or sleet or just pure rain? We're confident at this point Jacksonville's not going to see anything. But once we head into, let's say, tomorrow, we're going to have to really start to nail down the fact that, is it going to be how much? When, where. So this is why you want to continue to check back in, kind of get those newest details. But this is the latest guidance, I believe, from the ECMWF. It's showing a good swath of snow, might even extend all the way down towards the Gulf Coast. We're really, that is a pure possibility. Remember a year ago, we had that snow in Pensacola? This will not be like that. Same for the Jacksonville area. Remember last year we had like half a foot of snow in parts of Georgia. Not just mainly because of the timing. It's not going to allow that. It's not going to be a prolonged storm up to that point. If the snow falls for good south areas to South Georgia, it probably won't last a couple hours versus 6 to 8 hours. So it'll be wet. It'll be a little too warm, and plus the ground is a little too warm, which is also a big factor when we talk about snow accumulation. The ground has to be cold enough so when the snow falls, it actually sticks. In this scenario, the ground's probably going to be too warm, closer to the first coast. So when the snow falls, it kind of hits the ground and it just melts immediately. So any snow accumulation probably would be very minimal, maybe on tops of cars and things like that. My goal is to be up there and try to find the snow for you, and we'll be streaming that live, hopefully, here on FCN Plus as well, if that does happen. So something to look forward to. At least as we go ahead into Sunday over towards Monday. I think my weather impacts are off here just a little bit. I got to pull up the proper 7-day. That's the tomorrow one. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick for you. And here we go. This is the right graphic. Everything was off a day here. There we go. We'll work together here on the streams on FCN Plus, and there you go. That looks a lot better. MLK Day is on Monday, not Tuesday, but it is going to be a chilly start to the day there with just 29 degrees for the low. So another round of some of these cold air and some of those freezing conditions, very well likely. All right, so we're going to go to a break here, and then I'm going to take you to a conversation I had with Nir Staff. He is a professional there, a doctor at the World Meteorological Organization, and he talks to me about AI and the future of weather forecasting. It's a really interesting conversation. I learned a lot from it. So we're going to go to a break. We'll come right back, and then you'll be able to see this fantastic conversation with the WMO.
Cut the cord, get the app, stream free. Download the First Coast News Plus app, your trusted source for news, your weather, all your sports, and so much more on your time. Yeah, your schedule. It's your most accurate forecast, your weather impact alerts, extended breaking news coverage, and exclusive specials at a time that is convenient to you and your family. Download First Coast News Plus and watch for free right now.
I knew I needed physical therapy to be able to get back to doing the things I want to do, specifically golf.
Throughout Brooks Rehabilitation, with the 50+ locations we have, we see people with many injuries across the board. We're really looking to individualize a treatment plan and create goals together. That way they can get back to the sport or activity they love to do. Definitely
recommend Brooks to anyone who needs physical therapy. It enabled me to get back on the golf course to do what I want to do.
Nothing breeds competition and camaraderie in a community like this. It gets your adrenaline up. Sports has a unique way of bringing people together. Your First Coast sports team understands that. We go beyond the X's and O's and to the heart of the game, where wins don't always make winners and the L's don't necessarily make losers, and where the highlights sometimes mean more than the trophy. It's where the real stories are told.
Sports Finals sponsored by Farah and Farah, Sunday nights at 11:30 and streaming on First Coast News Plus.
from the World Meteorological Organization. Sir, thank you very much for taking time to talk with me here today about the future of weather forecasting and how it's kind of changing in with AI models becoming much more prevalent today. First off, sir, do you mind introducing yourself and where you are joining me from here?
Yeah. So I'm sitting in WMO, which is the World Meteorological Organization. The headquarters sit in Geneva. And we are the organization that helps coordinate the work of meteorologists all around the world, be it in modeling, like the talk we have today, or in measurements and satellites, and all those things. So, but we are only the secretariat sitting here in Geneva. Actually, WMO is a network of the meteorological services around the world. So wherever you are, you have the National Meteorological Service. It is a part of the WMO community.
And it really is. I do have to give a shout out to the WMO because it's one of those just like global organizations that everybody partakes in. And it's absolutely incredible what you guys do. So you are the people I want to talk to about the changing and the future of meteorology and specifically related to AI. So I'm going to put the first question, the basic question out there. So when we talk about AI weather models, a lot of people, they see AI and they imagine ChatGPT or something like that. But what is an AI weather model and how does it differ from your classic numerical models like the GFS or the ECMWF or anything like that?
So actually, there are various types of AI models, and some of them may look like the Chat GPT thing. At the end, you might work like that. So at the end, you might have some Chat GPT that you will ask, should I take the umbrella now that I'm going to walk with the dog or not? And you'll get an answer. But we are not there yet. So the current models are trying to do something very similar to the regular model, and that is to simulate what will happen in the atmosphere. So we have what we call the grid. That is, you take all the data and spread it in equal distances around the globe and various levels. And you have temperature and humidity and wind and clouds and all those atmospheric components. And then the weather models simulate it, say, okay, if this is the situation now, what will happen in the next step, and then next step, etc. And then you try to go to the next days and maybe even next weeks, right? So and up to now, all this modeling or simulation of the atmosphere was done by using equations, the equations of physics, Newton laws or whatever, fluid dynamics, all those thermodynamics. All of them are there inside, and they are crunching those numbers and producing the forecast. What AI does is that AI doesn't know physics. So it's a different approach, and you may call it more a statistical approach, because what AI is trying to figure out the statistical relations actually between what's happening now and what happens after a while and what happens next. So the methodology is to try to get in as much as data as possible about the history. This is called the training period of an AI model. You feed it with, this is what happened, and then this is what happened 6 hours later, and this is what happened 6 hours later, and then the next day, this is what happened, and that is what happened 6 hours later, etc. And in that way, the system learns from those things, and it's intelligence in a way that is very similar to the way our brain works. Because when we try to understand the world, we don't do it with equations, right? We have, a network inside our brain that is doing exactly the same type of mathematical calculation and is learning from experience, right? So that's what the AI models are doing. But actually, when you learn from experience, you learn physics. Not explicitly, but implicitly. For instance, everybody knows that if I take a ball and leave it, it will fall to the ground, right? We know it from experience and not from. Then, of course, if we are a student in university, we know to calculate how fast it will move, etc. But the AI methodology is similar to that, and it is already producing very accurate forecasts.
And I guess that is my follow-up. Well, two follow-ups there. So it learns. So if it gets something wrong, does it learn like, okay, next time I should do it this way? So, for example, if you have a storm going in one direction, but it actually goes in a different direction, does the AI see that and go, okay, in future, I know that if this happens, this happens. Is that what you're kind of saying here?
Actually, yes. So it learns from errors. Actually, it has something that is called the cost function. That is, you tell it what is right and what is wrong, and then it starts to adjust its inner it's called weights, the inner calculations, to try and reduce the cost, to try to reduce the errors. And if you give it a good, definition of what error is, then the mathematical model or the system will gradually get to a better and better result. That's the essence, and you can retrain. So you got to something, it works, but then you have a new data set, you can retrain, and then it will improve.
So I guess the elephant in the room, the big question is, how does this match up then against numerical models, like the classic, the old school models and the AI models? Have you seen it being better? Because I have seen some of them are kind of getting pretty good at like tropical weather forecasting. There's some evidence there. What have you seen from the role of WMO? Has the new models, these AI models, made a difference in how we forecast, and is it more accurate?
So yes, so this is of course one of the things what we are trying to do, and as I said, we is not a group here in Geneva, but a group of meteorological experts around the world that are sitting and trying to understand that. And what would the current understanding is, those models are capable of getting very good results, sometimes better than what we had before. The second thing, and maybe it's the most important one, is that they are able to do very accurate forecasting with very small computational power. That is, the amount of computational power needed to run a global model simulation of the entire globe is several orders of magnitude lower. So it could be tens of thousands time or even 100,000 times faster calculation than the typical numerical weather prediction, which means you could run a global model on a PC. Up to now, you needed some supercomputer in some sophisticated data centers to run them, and now in this new technology, you can get comparable results with very small or computer resources, and that's maybe the magic here, or the fascinating aspect. We see it outperforming regular models in some aspect, but not in all of them. So, for instance, you talked about tropical meteorology. So one of the things we see, the track of hurricanes are actually forecasted better by the AI systems. While the intensity of the hurricane and the amount of precipitation is less accurate. So we still need to understand why and how, but it's already being used. So once we understood that that the tracks are better, now hurricane centers, etc., look very seriously on those tracks.
That's interesting. Speaking of tropical, then, so because tropical meteorology is not just local to one spot or another. In the United States, I feel like it's very fortunate that we have hurricane hunters, a lot of balloons that get launched, but that's over land. So out over water in the middle of these very data sparse areas, numerical models, from what I understand, they need good initialization, those original factors to make them kind of more accurate. Does the AI model need that? Is this a little bit different in, like, especially those data sparse areas?
So as far as we understand today, and still this is under research, like any other model, garbage in is garbage out. So if you don't feed them with good initial conditions, etc., you cannot get good results. So there's no magic there. Uh, they are more efficient, calculation, but if you don't have data, you cannot forecast.
So I know this is a emerging technology, and I'm kind of going to put you on a spot here. Where do you think this technology with the AI models will be 10 years from now? And it doesn't have to be exact, but just kind of like, what are your general ideas? Is this going to be the future of meteorology forecasting?
Well, this is very risky
Mm,
prediction. So, I was a forecaster, so I'm very cautious when giving predictions like that. Um,
absolutely. I
but
understand you.
still, it seems that it's going to be our future. It seems it's evolving so fast, and there's those possibilities, and but the major, I think, change is going to be actually in the delivery of the service, not only on, when we talk about the models, etc., it's the back office. Um, the big change is going to be, I think, in the front end side of things. You can produce today, as you said, the big chat GPT that you ask questions, right? So, as I said, you will be able to have an application where you will ask questions and get answers automatically.
Wow.
You will be able to get the answers not only in text but also in video, right? So you know that you already have those AI applications that give you images, videos, but videos don't need to be, horses riding on the seashore. It can be a forecaster standing in front of you and
Oh,
give you the forecast, right? So think about that kind of a
I got to
future.
start thinking about my job here. Yeah, like,
Yeah,
goodness.
all of us probably need to. Yeah.
Wow. Well, it really is interesting talking with you on this. Just the way AI is evolving so much. Something I always say, and I know you're the expert in this, but something I always say: today is the worst it will ever be, in the sense that tomorrow it's going to be better, right? It feels like this technology is changing so fast. So it's really important to talk to you about this. Thank you very much for taking time with me. Last question I do want to ask you is there any resources via the WMO people could learn more about this? And do you have anything new at the WMO coming out that you would like to share? You're talking with me here right now?
So at the WMO, the really our effort is on working with the community of experts to understand, because we don't want uh, forecasters around the world to start using tools that are not accurate enough. They need to know what is available. They need to know how to use them, when to use them, and when not. So actually, for a professional, this is a very interesting work, and I really so we have webinars, and we have technical meetings, etc. And I really encourage meteorologists and experts to join those events. We just had an event in September, a gathering with the tech companies, with the meteorologists, talking about how to work together and do those synergies between the private and the public sectors. We are starting a webinar series, etc. So there's a lot to follow, and there will be probably fascinating things happening.
Well, all right. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk with me. Then it is all very fascinating to me. So I appreciate your time, and yeah, I hope you have a great day.
You too.